Get this man some help.
Are you hearing
Stop
this?
it. Get some help.
Do you hear the music?
I hear.
Okay. To get this man some help. Sean, what have you been up to?
Oh, crying.
Crying.
Mostly.
So that means you watched basketball. What I want to ask you first
I did.
is, do you notice anything different about me?
You're growing a mustache?
This is not a mustache.
Okay. Oh,
This is a summer stash. Okay? Because we are officially in summer.
I see.
The Blazers have been sent home.
Yeah.
They are in summer. And before we get into the nitty-gritty of the game, the nitty-gritty of the season, and the season, I have a question for you. Every summer, growing up, was an opportunity for reinvention, right?
Sure.
You could say, hey, this is the summer I'm going to get abs. This is the summer I'm going to put a ton of lemon juice in my hair, and come back with blonde locks. This is the summer that I'm going to, learn how to play the bass, right?
Okay, sure.
Okay,
Sure.
so this is the summer of my mustache, obviously.
Okay.
What I want you to think about what you want any Blazers player to have the summer of, and I'll start off because I know I like to throw you right in the water.
Okay.
Okay, I want Shaedon Sharpe to have a summer where he gets really into stand-up comedy. Okay, he goes to open mics, he finds his voice. Okay, he learns how to talk,
Right.
and articulate his thoughts,
I see.
and kind of take things on the chin a little bit.
Okay.
Bounce back. You're going to get heckled off stage a few times, just like you miss a couple shots, but you don't disappear. You stay on stage.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I want for Shaedon.
Well, I've heard it from a lot of stand-up comedians that stand-up comedy is in fact the hardest profession on the planet,
Sure.
and that if you can stand on stage and do that for 7 minutes, you can do anything. You can literally do anything.
Yeah. After that, you can go into the teeth of the Spurs defense, no problem.
Absolutely. Look Wemby right in the eye, or look at him right in the neck. wherever he might
right in the left nipple,
right in the collarbone, and say, "You don't scare me. You don't scare me."
Okay, I got another.
7 minutes. The Laugh Factory. You got nothing for me.
I got another one.
Okay.
Chris Murray.
Oh.
I think it's time he gets some tattoos. Okay.
Yeah.
Differentiate yourself from your brother.
Sure.
Learn about your identity. What are you? What are you going to put on there? Is it going to be like little sailor's anchor? Is it going to be, a flower? Maybe it'll be
I would
like
love it if
a
Chris
biblical
Murray got
verse.
the most old school possible tattoos. Like what were Navy guys getting tattooed on in World War I? You know what I mean? Like just old school. Like I want to see the mermaid dance? That kind of thing. That's what I'm hoping.
Well, you get what I'm going here, right?
No, I'm with you. You. Sure, toughen him up a little bit.
A little less children of the...
The thing is he's kind of got serial killer vibes, and I don't, he's just a little tightly wound. And
I read it a little different. I think he's painfully shy.
You think so?
And I think
we're not. I don't think we're saying different things here.
No.
I don't think we've diverged here yet.
I think he's been in the shadow of his brother.
Okay,
it's time to step out.
Okay. All right.
Stop me if you come up with anything on your own.
I think that's the same photo.
Yeah.
Okay.
At any point, stop me if you come up with an idea. I have another one.
No, go ahead.
I have a lot.
No, you're on the roll. Go ahead.
I want Donovan to get really into raves. Like he has the pacifier around his neck.
Just want photos of Donovan completely zooted out, just on E.
Just having a blast.
Rave.
Yeah. He's in Ibiza. He's got all the different multicolored shirts and stuff. He's got a lollipop in his mouth.
That's one of those things. I mean, that would be kind of a good buddy movie because that Matisse wants to take him, but then Donovan just goes crazy with it, and it becomes like a lifestyle. And Matisse is like, "Brother, this is only a once in a while thing. What are we doing here?
Matisse is like, I told you to drink more water.
Yeah, exactly.
You need a whole jug.
I said the pink pills are fine. Don't do the blue ones. And
okay.
Yeah. Okay. I have. It's not one that I necessarily want, but one that I think is going to happen, and that is Scoot is not going to put on another shirt until training camp. He went to the locker room He took off his uniform. He went into the shower. He came back on. He put on his shorts. He put on his shoes. He put on his glasses and his chains and said, all right, I'm out.
That is great.
No more shirts until September.
Honestly, if you look like Scoot, why wouldn't you?
That's what I'm saying.
You know,
Enjoy.
So you know that's something you actually don't want to happen. And for Scoot, I want him to get really into vinyl or have really strong opinions about the correct way to the correct flight paths that you should take. I want him to have something else he can hang his hat on.
Okay.
Because I think he's basketball obsessed, and when it's not going well, you can see it and it coming down. But if he came home from a bad game and he's like, I'm going to put on this original pressing of the the Strokes.
You know what I would watch? I would watch a Scoot Henderson gardening TikTok series of him just out in the yard.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Trimming the hydrangeas or whatever you do.
So Scoot, this is the summer. He's got no shirt guy. No shirt guy.
Well,
we know.
We've established that. No shirt guy. But no shirt in the garden, tending to his little, plant friends.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. It kind of sounds like what you're hoping for is basically for all these guys to turn into varying, into the Spider-Verse versions of Matisse Thybulle, basically.
Well, no, I just want them to.
Matisse does all these things.
Sure. No, Matisse is the perfect human. I mean, did you hear his press conference?
Sure.
He was just so articulate.
Yeah.
So kind. Yeah. This is what I want City Sissoko to do.
Okay.
Find Justice Winslow. Nobody knows where he is. Just find him.
Sure.
It's like, where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? we don't have an end. It's just go find him. City has a lot of energy. So the coaching staff's like, listen, we legally can't coach you for a few months.
That's true.
We're going to give you this task.
Yeah.
If you can do it before the start of training camp, then you will have a starting spot or something like that. And City's just going to go nuts and go off. But Justice will not be found.
Yeah, no, he's gone. He's gone. He's just No, I that's another show I'd watch. Get City Sissoko, maybe like Boris Diaw or someone a little older. You know what I mean? Stick him in an RV. All right, we're going to go find Justice.
It's great. I'll just go really quick. I had Denny take your Wemby turn, like go to a monastery, shave your head. I want Jeremy to do farming, but you already got Scoot doing the gardening, so that doesn't work. I want Tumani to go straight Bear Grylls, where we just drop him in the Alaskan wilderness.
I mean, he's doing that anyway, though.
Yeah, he's doing that. That's
Yes.
All right, Sean. The Blazers got sent home. For a long time, it looked like a total blowout. But they were, as the Blazers are wont to do, they were able to fight back, get it within 9, with like 8 minutes to go in the fourth. Mm-hmm. And then the Spurs put the hammer down.
Yeah, well, and I guess I should say this. It seems like some Spurs fans discovered us. And I just want to say, for any sort of remaining Spurs fans who are checking back in, anything negative I say about you is 100% jealousy, 100% envy, 100% I wish this were us. But I'm going to talk cash money shit about your team. I hate you all. I hate your team. I'm just so jealous that it hurts. There's a physical pain where I'm assuming my spleen is.
Yeah.
The physical jealousy pain.
Yeah.
Of watching a team that is on the rise and maybe even risen. You have an all generation, all world, maybe all solar system talent in Wemby, and you take him out of the mix, and they're still a good team. They are still just a real tough team. And so, I think Portland, we did the best that we could, and we made it competitive. I think it was, even though it was a 4-1, I think it was more competitive than most people thought, aside from that game where they had that, 31-point turnaround or whatever. So, yay, go Spurs. Happy for you guys.
I'm with you. I echo everything you say. It is insulting on so many levels because they are dominant. They are aesthetically pleasing to watch.
Again.
Yeah.
With Oklahoma City, this is their first time in the Promised Land. This is their first run. This is like the third dynasty. I mean, it's like the setting Chinese history.
Yeah.
With the San Antonio Spurs. It's just multiple dynasties. They showed that graphic of like the was it Wemby, Castle, and Dylan Harper.
Yeah.
It's like out of all the teams that needed not only 3 high draft picks, but to hit 777s on all 3 draft picks.
Yeah.
Come on.
I mean, that's just a good organization. It's like hating the Dodgers. It's like the Dodgers, not only do they spend the most money in the whole league, but they also are very good talent evaluators. And the Spurs are just super savvy.
And they say that you create your own luck, right? And I think that maybe just a side effect of just having a solidly run organization, like a solidly run long-term organization. And again, I just always want to go back to, I mean, the Spurs are really what people want the Heat to be.
Mm-hmm.
It's Spurs culture, baby. That's the culture.
So I have a question for you. Would Wemby be considered more of a villain if he didn't have such a beautiful smile?
Well, here's the thing, and we kind of talked about it last week. He's just so goddamn awkward. He's a kid. You know what I mean? Like from the chin up, he's a kid.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a goofy kid. And from the bottom down, he's a baby giraffe. Like it's like an AI rendering. Please put a baby face on a small giraffe.
Yeah.
And how can you be mad at that? Like,
You
how
can't.
can you, It's almost like Steph Curry. Like when Steph Curry first got into the league, it's like he looked like your kid brother.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still he's a little bit older now, but he looked like a little cherub guy.
Yeah.
Like, how can you be mad at that guy? And then over the course of the years, you realize, oh no, this is a child who grew up with no friends and has just made it his life's mission to punish every single person he sees on the basketball court. And, I think you can argue that Steph Curry has kind of made a heel turn, and Wemby's coming. But the thing is, like, when he puts on that last 25 pounds of, like, adult muscle, and I think he will then enter his, like, Thanos phase. But right now, it's hard to, like, because, like I said, like, he does all, but you look at his face and, like, he's clearly just a kind of a goofy kid.
Yeah.
You know what he needs? He needs
the summer stash?
Well, like a goatee or a beard. This is what Klingon did to kind of toughen himself up, to make him look a little
He grew some facial hair.
Yeah, he grew some facial hair.
I know, but it's loaded because he's...
But that was the attempt.
Yeah, but it's loaded because
Klingon... Have you ever seen those Instagram or the videos of like they throw a treat at a dog and then they slow it down and the dog's face when he's going to, like, get the treat? That's what Klingon looks like every time he goes in for a dunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wemby has a problem though, because I mean he is French, so if he goes to the goatee, it's like how far do you lean into that?
I think you go all the way.
You go all the way. Yeah. He's gonna wear like
I'd like to see him with like a Fu Manchu.
Yeah.
Like really go crazy.
He could show up with like a little like Nike sweatband, but it's actually like a beret. It's goes over the whole head. Okay, so the reason I asked that is because he is so like such a darling, and he's having that moment, and it happens over and over and over in this league where you come on the scene, you're adored, and then you have that heel turn.
Yeah.
And it's just people get tired of it. But during the post game, like I don't know if you saw this, but the players are all dapping each other up, and Denny's having a moment with different players, and then he gets to Wemby, and Wemby just stonewalls him. I mean, they do it to each other, right? They're just like, fuck you both.
Yeah.
And you love to see it from Denny. It seems like a little petty from Victor. Like he's the big brother in this situation. Like
I think you have to be a gracious winner, right? Like when you and especially when it's like you're clearly beating the brakes off a team. Well, there's clearly that was no. I know it got a little chippy towards the end, but I mean, you just have to be a little bit more gracious. If nothing else, just the sort of knowing, like, we got you. Yeah, nice try. Something. But just the kind of like.
I mean, even Stefan Castle, who is just an asshole in a lot of ways on the court, gave him, it wasn't like a warm hug.
No, but just an acknowledgement.
Justin Champagne was like just really happy to see everybody.
He's just happy to be there.
He's a happy guy.
I'm happy he's there. He's got a great story.
I would love to have Justin Champagne.
I think a lot of teams would now. I think that it's one of those things where you realize, okay, like, my NBA journey was not guaranteed. My spot was not guaranteed. I've landed a spot with a really good team. And you have a game like that, and you're like, okay, I'm a contributing part of this team now. And also, my stock has just gone up immensely. So even if I don't stay with this team, there's another team out there that's going to sign me for a cubic ton of money.
Somebody's going to overpay him.
Be a great feeling.
Yeah, it happens. Like, it seems like the Heat and the Spurs spin off these guys. You know, Max Strus and what's the guy, the white guy, Duncan Robinson. And, what I wanted to know, so you know what would be a great buddy show would be Timani and Stefan Castle on a road trip. And they're both like driving, looking at each other, and the gas gauge is going down, and they're both like, who's gonna say we should stop for gas? And neither of them do.
There is no way that doesn't end without some prison time. Stefan Castle is really shaping up to be it's sort of like quieter Dylan Brooks. Like, you know, he's not nearly as vocal, but I think he's got that kind of personality where, you know, and I think you're going to see a little more of it as he gets more comfortable in the league. But he's going to be a guy that I think other teams really hate to see.
Yeah.
He's just kind of an asshole.
I mean, watching that last game, watching the whole series in a lot of ways was sort of like the sensation of going on a really long run.
Yeah.
Where it's like you feel good for moments of it and you think I'm going to kill this, but by the end you're just like limping home.
Yeah.
And it was the same way with this series. It was like we felt really good at moments. We had the scoop game, you know, up by 17, whatever. And then sort of the inevitability of the miles kind of creep up and then take you over. And they just had there was a personnel gap, and we desperately need shooting.
Yeah,
I mean that was
that much is clear.
That was very, very clear.
Yeah.
Which leads me to the question of, you know, we were watching. You and I both watched the exit interviews with the Blazers. I wanted to know who on this roster feels untradeable to you.
Untradeable,
or who would be like? No, I'm going to start getting real nervous here.
I think. Well, so I think there's the sort of normal situation answer, and then there's the new ownership answer, right? And I think that those are two different, because I would say that traditionally, if you looked at this team, I think you would say Denny Advia, first and foremost, is, you know, unless the last name of the player you're trading for is Antetokounmpo, maybe, and I say maybe to that. I'm not sure. Like, I don't think I would trade Denny for Giannis at this point, but that's, you know, but yeah, I think Denny is definitely untradeable. I think in a normal situation, Dame would be untradeable. But past that, I don't know. That may be it, you know?
Yeah.
But under the new ownership, like, I think that if he were able to get something. The thing about Dame is on a very good contract for next season, because Milwaukee's paying like 60% of his salary, and Denny is on just a crazy deal for the amount of output. You know what I mean?
So that's the thing, is Denny's contract and his production and his trajectory make him almost untradeable. I mean, his salary is actually going to go down for the next like 2 years.
I know, it's really kind of crazy. And quite honestly, if I were Denny, I would be thinking about, like, look, it's time to talk about,
can we renegotiate?
Restructuring my contract.
Keep me happy.
And it's tough because, I mean, like, they just extended Shaden and Tumani for not huge money, but I think with Tumani, it seems like it's about the right amount. With Shaden, I mean, it's hard to say.
I was happy. I was happy with both.
Listen, with Shaden, and I hate to say this, the talent is there. I don't think that's ever been a question. But the sort of processing power is kind of, and we're sort of heading into like Nick Batum territory with Shaden. And I hate to say that, but with Nick Batum, for those of you who weren't fans back then, they signed him. I think he was young, maybe 20. Back in the old times, Young was like 20.
He's still playing.
Yeah, he's still playing. Yeah. But when the Blazers signed him, and so this guy is going to be great, blah, blah, blah. And then his first year, he was second year, third year. We were in the year like 5 and 6. They signed him to a massive contract extension. I want to say his 5th or 6th year. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. But again, on the sort of back of like, oh, he's just waiting for that breakout season. And that breakout season never came. And he's had a long career. And I think that he's a net positive in the locker room. I think he's very smart about the game. and all that stuff, but he never quite got to the level that the Blazers were positive he was going to get to. And I do worry about Shaden. Like, are we? I mean, the contract is still reasonable enough that it's not terrible. It's not like Jeremy Grant money. But, I do have some concern. But anyway, I say all that to say, in a normal circumstance, you may be willing now to sort of part with guys like Shaden and Tumani. But with this new sort of cost-cutting regime we have, are they looking at sort of talent, or are they looking at, well, we've got favorable... Do the analytics tell them it's better to keep the favorable contract than it is to try to get a better player? I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah. A spider just fell on my desk. So, like a huge spider. Anyway, this is where I turn into Spider-Man in a bit and the whole thing.
Excellent.
Yeah, so the reason I asked that question is exactly sort of what you kind of got to, which is before I was sort of enamored with who I thought, Scoot and Shaden especially, had the potential to be.
Mm-hmm.
But I think at this point, it is getting to the point where I am I wouldn't be, heartbroken. I mean, I would hate to see him go, but I don't think they're untouchable anymore. I think you have Denny, and you have Dame, and Dame. We don't know what he's going to be as a player, but narratively, like, that's not going to happen. You're not going to trade him after he comes back.
Like, I certainly wouldn't, but I don't know. Like this, I mean, like I said, I think that if Dame were on like a full contract, like we were paying all crazy $50 million or whatever, I'd be a lot more concerned. But I think his contract is so good, they'll keep him at least through next year. Because
I mean, he's still filing taxes in Milwaukee, like
but like we're only paying him like what, 14 million or
14
some absurdly stupid number.
Yeah,
that we're paying him. So yeah, I think he's pretty safe. I think Denny's pretty safe. But yeah, I think the rest. And you know what? You saw what the team was like against a great team.
Mm-hmm.
They don't. Portland can't compete with the great teams. You know what I mean? They can maybe hold with the good teams, but they cannot compete with the great teams. So you kind of have to do what you have to do.
I mean, I think like the playoffs were a worthy pursuit, and they definitely did a good job of sort of displaying what we have and what we don't have.
Yeah.
And they every year the playoffs kind of expose the weaknesses of every team.
Yeah.
And it exposed our lack of shooting and lack of playmaking outside of Denny.
Yeah.
The reason
here's the tough part though, right? The Blazers are sort of light in assets comparatively. And young, like the Scoot Henderson we see now is not going to be the Scoot Henderson that plays in 3 years. You know what I mean? Or shouldn't be. I mean, I just have a feeling that he's going to, even if he stays sort of is inconsistent, you know what I mean? There's still development there. Klingon is going to get a bit better over time. You know what I mean? So they're going to get better. But it's just like with Donovan Klingon, like he cannot guard anyone above the free throw line.
Right.
And that was painfully clear in the San Antonio series.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so you're in a position where with the things he does well, he does really, really well. He's one of the, if not the best rebounder in the league, one of the best. I think it was like third in the league at rebounding. He's a good sort of like low, box defender. But when he's in, he's going to be a liability against any team that can shoot. You know what I mean? Like he's just going to be kind of a liability. And so there's this, like, Tumani is, there was that brief bit of hope where I thought, oh my God, this guy's going to turn into a reliable, 18, 20 a night scorer guy. And probably not. That's probably not going to happen. Not the end of the world because he's such a stellar defender. But, you realize that you're starting to, I guess what I'm saying is you're starting to see kind of what the limitations are going to be on some of these guys. And you either have to build around that or maybe just roll the dice and see if you can get something better.
Well, it's such a hard dance, and it's why I wouldn't want this job, because you do have to figure out where does the player, where does the player ceiling out at, and you can, if sometimes when teams wait and they trust their development team, they are rewarded handsomely. Like you see it right now in the Timberwolves series, where they were able to beat the Nuggets without Anthony Edwards, largely because of Jaden McDaniels, who for a long time, it was like, what is this guy? We don't know what this guy is. Great defender, but can he do it on the offense? Like, he's a little immature. Like, he broke his hand punching a wall.
Yeah, he
did. And then and now he has upped his game so much that he, was probably the most important player in that series.
Yeah.
And he talked his shit and then backed it down and then talked his shit and then backed it down again. And they moved on, without their best player on the court because he showed up. So what I'm saying is this is a question for Joe, and this is a question for that front office, is you have to start to evaluate these guys. How much rope are we going to give it? Is it going to be a Nicholas Batum arc, or is it going to be a Jaden McDaniels arc?
Yeah.
And that's what they're getting paid a lot of money to figure out. And there's nothing more heartbreaking than trading away a guy too soon and seeing him blossom in another situation. So I don't.
Of Jermaine O'Neal, brother.
That's a bad. I don't envy him anything. And the heartbreaking, the bummer about this year is that we don't get a draft pick. We don't have a pick in the first round or the second round. But the good thing about that is now that it's conveyed, it's unlocked all those Milwaukee assets that we can now trade. So what I'm going to ask you what you're hoping for in that arena. But before I do, I think the worry I have is we give my kids allowance every month, and they'll spend it on the first day of the month, and then they'll wait the rest of the month in spending jail because they don't have any money left. And then I'll say, remember this, remember this, remember this. You're going to get more money on the first of the month. Remember what happened. And they immediately spend it the next day, and they have a whole nother month in jail. So what I'm worried about is that we have all this freedom, given to us. We're finally out of Neil O'Shea jail. And are we going to go directly into Dun 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 jail?
Well, I mean, it kind of remains to be seen. It seems like it's an ownership group that is not excited about taking on a lot of extra costs. So I think realistically, I would be very surprised if Drew, Jeremy Grant, and Robert Williams were with the team next year. I'd be very surprised.
Each of them, or if they were all back?
Each of them. Each of them. I would love for Robert Williams to do that. I think I just absolutely adore Robert Williams. He's just one of my favorite players in the NBA. But yeah, I just think that he's, unless they can really convince him to take kind of a hometown discount, you know what I mean?
It was interesting because all those players outside Jeremy really seemed like they wanted to stay here next year. Jeremy was sort of on the fence. He was like,
but I mean, I think, we were talking at the beginning of this season, they sold their house.
Yeah,
coming into this season because they thought they were going to be gone. You know what I mean? They had to look for a new house.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess I'm saying this is the team that Drew Holiday, a proven winner, Time Lord, a proven winner, want to stay. I mean, that has to say something.
No, I think it does, and I think first of all, I was glad to hear them all sort of voice their support for Tiago Splitter, and I know Tiago Splitter has to play it very safe and say all the right things, but you kind of heard. You reading between the lines of the players kind of being like, what are we even talking about? Kind of like offended on his behalf that he's getting the kind of treatment that he's getting. But no, so yeah, they want to stay. I think that does say something. Like I said, the Blazers are in a good position. They did better than we thought they were going to do, but they're just not, they're more than just one good trade away from breaking into that next tier. And Drew's making a ton of money, and Jeremy Grant obviously making a ton of money, and Robert Williams I think is not going to command a ton of money, but it's going to be a healthy contract for him. But my worry is that I think Jeremy Grant, he may be in a situation where a team will need some assets with him to take the deal. I don't think it's going to be one of these situations where Jeremy Grant's going to, we'll give you a couple of draft picks for Jeremy Grant. You know what I mean? I think people are still looking at that contract and looking at his output and saying, okay, we'll take him off your hands, but we need a little sweetener. You know what I mean? And then Drew Holiday, I don't know what his trade value is going to be like.
Right.
Because you're right. He's a proven winner, and I think he did, I quibble sometimes with his decision-making at crunch time, but he was the best player on that team for a lot of games.
Right.
And certainly the most stable and consistent. And yeah, I think he would be valuable for a lot of other teams, but at the cost of what the 30-something million a year.
So yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what that's going to look like. I really don't.
He is that sort of Chris Paul, cherry on top final piece that a lot of teams could probably, that's what we sort of envisioned him as being.
Yeah, legitimately would be on a lot of teams. Not a lot of teams, but a handful of teams.
The grant money is like pretty onerous. It's like $34 million next year, and then he has a player option in 27-28 for 36.
Which he would be a fool not to take.
Right. So, I mean, in terms of like logistically, like grant, unless you can find somebody who really fell in love with his, I don't know who's taking him, honestly, like unless it's like part of a bigger machination. But the Robert Williams thing, he proved himself to be healthy, and he's going to be really appealing for a lot of teams.
He's going to have a lot of suitors. And that's the thing where, I mean, he may command enough of a salary that the only way another team could do it would be through like a sign and trade sort of situation. And that could maybe offset whatever you have to. I mean, the Jeremy Grant thing is so weird to me. Like, especially the way that the new bargaining agreement and all this stuff, like it would not surprise me. Well, I should say this. For a normal team, it would not surprise me if they just bought him out.
Right.
But for the...
I don't know how that works. Yeah,
done. I'm not entirely sure that they would want to do that. So yeah, I don't know. It's a weird, like I said, the new bargaining agreement, the new ownership group. It's going to be a fascinating exercise in sort of what their new priorities are like, and what their sort of their estimation of what they have currently. You know what I mean, and what they want to do. So yeah, I don't know.
I mean, the good thing is for Tiago, he's doing the dance now, is that if he does get a contract, they're never going to fire him, because they don't want to pay out the thing. That's too cheap for that. So it's like the kind of secure. If I was Tiago, I'd say, give me a 10-year contract.
Yeah, sure.
I want as much years as possible, because I know I'm not going to get fired.
I can tell you, Tiago Splitter is a better man than I am, because it would have been a ferocious parting shot for me.
What did you?
Well, I should say this: if the stuff that, like, if the reports were true, I mean, I just think.
What did you make of Joe? So in the press conference, they asked Joe about not taking two-way players, on the road trip, and then why they took him for Game 5. And he basically was like, that's on me. Like, I didn't run it by the owner, and I was trying to save costs because we're going to lower our traveling party. Da, da, da. Do you buy it? Or is this a man who really wants to keep his job?
Yeah, well, it's kind of like we talked about off camera. Your asshole boss is still your boss. You know what I mean? And I think Joe Cronin has a job that he genuinely likes. And, I think that he maybe understands that he might not get an opportunity like this again.
Right.
And so he's doing what he can to keep it. Whether not taking those guys was a misinterpretation of what the owner instructed him to do or not, the owner clearly has instructed everyone to save money, to pinch every penny. Like, it's clear in the way that they've operated. And so whether, Tom Dundon wrote a memo specifically saying leave those guys at home, or he just did the save me every dollar we can on travel expenses, and then Joe just kind of took that to mean it doesn't really matter. What matters is it's clear that the entire league laughing at them, and basically, like, turning on the ESPN show and having Charles Barkley and Kenny Smith and Shaq basically calling you every name under the sun, and on national TV saying, well, if I was a coach, I wouldn't coach there. It's really clear that some of that national pressure that they're hearing, at least some of that is filtering through, and they're saying, okay, maybe we do have to
It's clear to me that the workplace dynamic between them isn't what you would wish it would be, because we've all been in that situation where we have a boss who's unclear about what they want, and so we start to make guesses, and we get the guesses wrong. And you know what? For a boss, that's a really, if you're a certain kind of boss, that's a really nice little shield for yourself, because 100%. You can say, I never told you to do that. Why did you do that? I just said do this, blah, blah, blah. And the fact that Joe didn't feel comfortable or didn't think to run it by Tom Dundon, probably because he I don't want to bother him, whatever. It says a lot, because that's a text. That's a phone call. Hey, you said to lower the traveling party. Does this mean our two-way players?
Yeah.
That's all that would take. and then it would
Definitely
be over.
something you want to push up the ladder.
So it's either
Yeah.
a lie and Joe's taking the sword, fall on the sword, or it's like a weird dynamic where Joe didn't feel comfortable to call his owner. Like, that's something that if your owner says, hey, save money,
Yeah.
and then you're like, I have an idea.
Yeah.
Let's break protocol with every other team in the league and
Let's
expose ourselves.
No other team has ever done in the history of the G League.
And I'm not going to run it by you.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the thing about it is, if it were Joe just kind of messing up, you would figure that there might be some repercussions for him, because it made his owner look like a 24-karat asshole to God and country. You know what I mean? And the fact, like I said, the fact that it was so revealing that they took the guys to Game 5, because it was clear that,
I know.
This made us look really bad.
Yeah, and Joe,
internally and externally, I'd like to point out, because I know for a fact internally that was a thing.
Right. So. And then, to defend Joe, to defend Tom, Joe's like, he bought us a new hyperbolic chamber and, all this stuff. And it just felt like a lot of like, hey, buddy, I'm getting killed over here.
Yeah.
Like, take some of the heat off, please.
100%. Just meat shield. just 100% meat shield. That's what Joe was.
All right, Sean. We just got some breaking news.
Okay.
Damian Lillard will be playing in the next Blazers game. He is going to suit up for the Blazers the next time they play basketball.
Okay.
What are your thoughts, feelings, emotions?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of sensed it coming. It's clear that man wants to play basketball. You can just see him on the bench, just like the last couple games in the San Antonio series. He was dying inside.
Yeah,
just absolutely dying inside watching.
And in his exit interview, he said, if we would have made it farther, I was definitely considering coming back.
Listen, he's such a competitor. He called up the commissioner of the NBA and said, "Look, let me be in the 3-point contest on a blown out leg. Please let me do something. I am literally dying here."
So it was interesting to me that he was made available. Like, he didn't play basketball this year, but the one thing that was kind of funny is he was like, I don't know where you guys got the idea I was going to come back. It's so interesting and da da da. And I'm like, dude, like you were dropping breadcrumbs. Like, we all know this is 2026. Like, we know what this stuff is. Beyonce does surprise albums. We know what happens. Like, there's this isn't like a mystery.
Right.
Like, we're not the idiots here.
No.
Anyway,
he's in the hot dog suit costume, being like, we got to figure out.
Yeah,
this hot dog car through the wall. Yeah, we got to figure out who did this.
All right, the last thing I want to talk to you about is, we don't have the draft picks this year. No. So, in terms of off-season speculation and wonderment and entertainment, and your guy at the dumpster who you're getting information from, all we have is the trade market.
Yeah,
Yeah, and you can watch the playoffs, like Mike Richmond says on Locked On Blazers. He does that whole a hater's guide to the playoffs, which is great. We love it. What sort of outcomes you're hoping for each team that could benefit the Blazers. But it got me thinking, and sort of like, what are the pieces that we need? And we definitely need outside shooting. We definitely need some more playmaking action off the reason we won game 2 is because Scoot Henderson was able to offer playmaking and shot making. Yeah. And when that went away from him after Dylan Harper inhabited his body and then took out his soul, we were dead in the water because we didn't have that secondary playmaker. So I was like, okay, Donovan Mitchell, okay, Alperen Şengün. What about somebody like you could get one of the Hawks guys, maybe the target, bring CJ back into the fold or something like that. So is there anybody who you're like thinking to yourself, that's an interesting avenue? And don't say Giannis. I don't want to talk about Giannis.
No, I'm done. I'm done talking about Giannis. I just no. Like I said, he's great. He's great, but no. Let's just let that go. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, right? Because you got Dame coming back. And Dame, at his best, is that aggressive playmaker. it just depends on what his injury. If he is unable to sort of physically perform the way he did, and that's not a knock. That's, with a 30-something-year-old guy coming back from a tremendous injury. There's going to be I don't think he's going to be the same player. I'll put it like that. If he's not, even at worst case scenario, he is a knockdown shooter. He is a give me the ball and watch me make a basket shooter, which they desperately needed. That said, with Dame on the court, you are in a situation where you kind of have a little bit of a hole on defense. Not that he doesn't care, not that he doesn't try. He's just not a great defender. At a position where you have a lot of great offensive players, and we've talked about this many times over the years. And so, like, Donovan Mitchell's compelling, but Donovan Mitchell is also, again, not a bad defender. I'm not saying that, But again, you kind of too small guard backcourt that has historically not worked terribly well, Can I tell you a name that I would love to see from just a sort of experiment? Like, if I could run a simulation. You ready for this?
Yeah.
You're not going to like it. You're probably going to hate it. Julius Randle.
Oh, God.
Because he's not afraid to take shots.
He definitely is not afraid to take shots.
No, he's not afraid. He's not timid. He's not passive. He's a bully. You could really run some crazy small ball lineups with Julius Randle.
Huh?
Yeah. And you could run some big lineups with Julius Randle.
Yeah.
And depending on how far Minnesota gets, the Julius Randle experiment might not make it. I mean, the Wolves could actually use Drew Holiday.
They have Mike Conley on one leg. He's fine.
I love Mike Conley. Man.
He's great.
I love Mike Conley. Yeah. So anyway, he's a guy that I see, and there are some times where I even forgot that he was on the Timberwolves. I'm like, oh shoot, that's right. There's Julius Randle.
Yeah.
But that's a guy, like I said, he crosses off a lot of boxes that they don't have right now. And if you're going to bring Dame back, and Dame's going to be, sort of like post-injury Dame, I'd say roll the dice on Julius Randle. The money would work. The timeline would kind of work.
I think I would be more open to that today than I was 2 years ago. Like, he has definitely had a really interesting, sort of evolution as a player. And when he's on there's always that test I run players through where it's like, oh, when they're playing against me, who do I get nervous for when they start to get a little hoppy in their step? And he's definitely one of those guys where it's like he starts to feel good about himself. You're not going to have a happy night.
He's a tough matchup. He's a tough matchup for a lot of teams because he does a lot.
I think when they asked Scoot in the post game about playing with Dame, and he sort of readily admitted, like, he's sort of he was pushed into being off ball this series, and it wasn't necessarily a negative thing. Mm-hmm. So you're hoping, maybe Scoot can be a little bit of the defensive fireplug that he was in the first couple games of the San Antonio Spurs. He plays really hard.
Really, really hard.
And as Kevin Calabro likes to say, he's got these big old mitts on the ball.
Yeah. Well, like I said, again, you talk about development. You watch Scoot turn into, he's not like a lock. He's not like Marcus Smart, what I mean? But he's energetic and he takes it personally, and that's what you want. But also, like, Scoot can shoot now. Mm-hmm. And I don't hear a lot of people talking about that, but Scoot is hitting shots. And I think that is, if you look at it as a trajectory, you know what I mean? There's a potential that he could maybe even get a little bit better before, you know what I mean? So he was
injured for the first 3 months of the season, and he's going to come.
There is that sort of new guy timidity, you know what I mean? Even, like, again, it's not a confidence thing, because I think that his confidence is fine. But I do think that it is like, okay, well, what should I do? Like, what's the right thing to do right now? You know what I mean? You could see there were plays where he kind of hesitated a little bit. You know what I mean? Because he just wasn't quite sure what to do. And that's stuff that you learn how to do.
Well, and NBA basketball is predicated on the fact that you want to find a player that the other team can't guard one-on-one. That's right. And once you do, it starts to break down. There's chaos. Yeah. We have one guy right now who can do that on a consistent basis. But Damian's going to come back next year, and he's going to be the second guy, even if he's just a knockdown shooter. Yeah. Even if he's just a knockdown shooter. So that's going to open up the floor a lot more for Scoot, doing what he likes to do, which is get in the middle and kind of muck it up. Yeah. And kind of drive in the lane. And the shooting part is, like, you're so spot on that, because he went from being a minus shooter to being a plus shooter. He was airballing stuff in the beginning, and he's
look. We've talked about it. I should have done like a film diagram thing because I mean, you could just see the broken parts of his jump shot.
Yeah.
But you could see him fixing them in real time, which was just tremendous. Just a tremendous thing to watch and see. Like you see the bad footwork and the mechanic, and you could see him smoothing it out just over time. And it's just tremendous. And I mean, he is a bona fide shooter at this point. If he can keep it that way, you know what I mean?
So this is the line that Joe's got to walk, because that's the development pop versus trade for a more known commodity.
You know, another guy who might be interesting. A guy who confounds me, because a few years ago I would have said, man, this dude may be the second coming of Kevin Durant. So there's a lot of talk about the kid from New Orleans.
Derek Queen?
No. Trey Murphy.
Trey Murphy.
A lot of chat about the Blazers need to take Trey Murphy. And I see it. Like, Trey Murphy is, like, I see it. But a guy in that same vein who has actually had kind of a disappointing stretch that may make him eminently more available is D'Angelo Russell from Toronto. Or not D'Angelo Russell, I'm sorry. No. Brandon Ingram. Ingram, not D'Angelo Russell. Yeah, no. Sorry. I get him confused. All those Lakers guys.
You love that baby Lakers.
This is a whole different person. Yeah, second coming of Kevin Durant, D'Angelo Russell. No.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
Is a guy who I think is proved that he's never going to be the guy.
Yeah.
He's not going to be able to shoulder the burden. But on a lineup, like, and he's the point, he's only 29, first of all, which is crazy to me. Because I feel like he's been in the league for 15 years.
Yeah.
But I feel like he's a guy that if you put him in the mix, like a, Scoot, Dame, Tumani, Denny, Brandon Ingram, small ball lineup.
Yeah. You're probably giving up Shaden in that and some draft picks. And I think that we're sort of circling the same thing. We need somebody who can score in kind of at least two levels. We need a two-level scorer.
One-on-one scorer. We
need like a mid-range 3-point.
Go make a shot kind of guy.
I mean, Trey Murphy would be ideal, right? Because he's going to be a plus defensive player and a knockdown shooter. But the price for him is going to be insane.
Yeah,
and
that's the thing, because I mean, he is definitely you're buying high on him because there's so many teams are interested in him, because again, he's still got maybe this untapped potential. Where a guy like Brandon Ingram, I think you know what you're getting with him. I don't think there's any more surprises. I don't think he's going to elevate his game much more than it is. But you can get him for a little less of a cost than you could have 2 years ago.
Ironically, who would be really good?
Who's that?
Tyler Hero. I'm not kidding. Tyler Hero is offensively can be special, and defensively he competes. And it's so funny because we could have had Tyler Hero in that Dame trade, but he has kind of impressed me. I know he's sort of feast or famine a little bit because he does have like lulls, but that's the kind of guy I think we need. Anyway, so before we go, Sean, I just want to say
one thing. I want to say, all this talk about trade and how we this, that, and the other. I saw this and I'd forgotten this, but I saw this and I just, in order to kind of make ourselves feel a little bit better about where we are, because I had completely forgotten about this. The Knicks gave up 5 draft picks for Mikal Bridges.
I think he plays like 9 minutes right now off the bench.
5 draft picks.
He plays like 20 minutes off the bench.
Yeah. However bad it is.
It's not bad. I think that's the thing. Is like we're in a good situation, and now the beautiful thing is that we get to watch 2 huge Frenchmen just lean against each other.
Do you know?
It's going to be beautiful.
Spurs fans, I hate you all because I'm very jealous. But I don't hate anyone as much as I hate Rudy Gobert. I am just living for Wemby to just embarrass Rudy Gobert. I want him to retire. Like in wrestling, they have like this guy just retired John Cena. I want him to retire Rudy Gobert. I want him to beat him so bad that at the end of the game, Rudy Gobert just smiles and passes out, and you never hear from him again.
Here's the thing. Rudy Gobert found something in himself that I didn't know he had against Jokic. And he is playing defensively at a different level than he has in the post in a long time.
Yeah.
And also, Jaden McDaniels, I love our Blazers, but Jaden McDaniels, Anthony Edwards, if Anthony can come back, I think he's going to come back to this series, is a different kind of beast for the Spurs. They are going to be tested, I think, in this because for all of what Denny is, Anthony Edwards is a different kind of dude right now.
Well, this comes back to this. It's a kind of a nebulous concept a lot of the times, but toughness.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like the Timberwolves are tough. They want the fight. They want the smoke.
Yeah.
Like and it's not just like two guys. Like the entire team. Like even Dante DiVincenzo, he wants that action.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You wouldn't think it, but he wants it. Like
he's out for the season, so
I know, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
That entire team is a roster. The roster is just full of guys who absolutely want to get into it. Yeah. And I think that this thing happened was sure with Jaden McDaniels, who is now able to be a sort of added voice. You know what I mean? Like he can actually, like his words have weight now. You know what I mean? And you've got Anthony Edwards, and we know what he's all about. He makes no apologies about it. I love that about him. And paired with the fact that Jokic has been torturing Rudy Gobert now for like 5 seasons, like actively in his ear, talking about, just like talking to him, like because Jokic really hates Rudy Gobert, and you can see it. Like he has a lot of disdain for Rudy Gobert.
Well, everybody does. He barely gets
yes, and with good reason. But you can see there's just sort of the contempt dripping off of Nikola Jokic. You know, and it's a long-term thing. So Rudy got in his bag and said,
Rudy got him back.
I'm done with this.
And
you know the thing, like Karl Anthony Towns, goddammit.
Yeah, and I love Donovan, but Naz Reid is going to punish Luke Cornett. Like the 3-point shooting, like the 3-point shoot, like they were like Tiago's like, I want to start Donovan because he can pull Victor out with his 3-point shooting. Yeah. I think he went like 3 for 11 or something in this series. Naz Reid is not going 3 for 11.
No,
Naz Reid is an elite shooter.
Well, so Naz Reid is another guy. You hear all the time about guys who correctly sort of limit themselves to fill a role that's needed on the team. And those guys invariably end up becoming very successful NBA players. Naz Reid is a guy, if you look at his college tapes, in fact, if you're watching this, go look at Naz Reid's college tapes. Naz Reid was a monster. Could do, like, he was like a point center in high school and most of his college career. He is an absolute monster who has sort of reined himself in to become a more sort of prototypical like role player. But Naz Reid
you said to him, listen, Naz, you can have a great life.
100%.
You can get multiple rings.
100%. And so, I think that Naz Reid, you talk about guys who you worry about, like Naz Reid, at any given moment can go nuts on you if he needs to. And I don't know who the Spurs have. Like, Luke Cornett's not gonna be doing Naz Reid like he was doing Donovan Cling. I can tell you that.
All right, well, we got to get out of here because it's almost an hour and too much fun.
Responsibilities.
But I'll see you next week.
Where we can, I guess, talk about how great other teams have at San Antonio.
I'm sure Tom Dun's going to do something that we're going to be able to talk about.
Well, so the thing about it is, and we talked about it over the past couple of shows, is I've heard a lot of reporting from national reporters being like, "Oh, just wait. Just wait. Just give us a little bit of time once the season's over." So I'm eagerly awaiting to hear all the embarrassing shit that our new owners are doing now.
Thanks as always to Puma Distortion. We'll see you next time.
Get this man some help.
Stop it. Get some help.
A Blazers podcast.
I was trying to think of a thing that I could have Tiago do over the summer, but I couldn't come up with one.
Well, he's Brazilian. Every day is summer for him.
He's probably having a great time. He's going to go back to
Also
Brazil.
a guy probably not wearing a shirt for 3 months.
He's not wearing, maybe not even pants.
Maybe not.